You'll never guess what they've discovered beneath the ice of Antarctica. But before we cover that, let's go to the Egyptian desert, because there, as you know, stands those three massive stone triangles rising up like they were dropped there by the gods or aliens, or both, depending on how deep you are on TikTok. The pyramids of Giza, iconic, mysterious, suspiciously perfect. Maybe these weren't just monuments to the dead, maybe they were power stations, or star maps, or alien docking bays with really strict parking rules. Whatever they are, they've survived thousands of years of sand, war, tourism, and Egypt. So, what if the pyramids weren't built by us? Or at least, not just us. Welcome to Conspiracy. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Conspiracy, the show where no story is too strange, no theory too far-fetched, and no one is safe from our deep dives into the unknown. I'm Ash, your host, your guide into the world of conspiracies, and occasional devil's advocate. And if you're new around here, welcome. We cover conspiracy theories, weird mysteries, ancient histories, all whilst having a bit of a laugh. So join me every Wednesday for all of that. You can find all episodes of Conspiracy for free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever those little ears of yours listen to my podcast. My listeners allow me to do this, so please let me know how I'm doing. Reach out on TikTok and Instagram at Conspiracy, or via email conspiracy@gmail.com, or better yet, leave me a damn good review. Por favor. Right, so get this. Somewhere beneath layers of history, sand, and possibly even ice lies a story that mainstream archaeologists swear is all just a myth. Just good old human engineering, religion, and tombs for dead blokes in fancy hats. But you and I, we know that history's full of plot holes. Big, dusty, alien-shaped plot holes. Today on Conspiracy, we're diving into the pyramids. Not just the ones you've seen on the postcards from Egypt. Nah, I'm talking about a global pyramid network, possibly built by ancient astronauts, coded in maths we still can't quite explain, and scattered from Giza to Guatemala to the frozen frontiers of the bloody Antarctica. Yeah, Antarctica just got the latest upgrade. They now got pyramids. You heard me right. And along the way, we're going to meet some old mates of mine. The Anunnaki, those mysterious sky gods from the Sumerian legend who may or may not have popped down to Earth in flying saucers to mine some gold, teach humans how to write, and possibly invent the concept of vibes. We'll connect the dots between Egyptian pharaohs, Mayan temples, military cover-ups, cosmic geometry, and whatever the hell Elon Musk is doing with that rocket. So grab your tinfoil hats, bless your crystals, and brace yourself for an episode full of ancient mysteries, suspicious architecture, and more than one moment where you'll say, wait a minute, hang on, what the beep? Let's get into it. So picture this, you're in the middle of the Egyptian desert. Not a costa in sight, just endless sand, baking heat, and three massive stone triangles rising up like they were dropped there by the gods, or aliens, or both, depending on how deep you are on TikTok. The pyramids of Giza, iconic, mysterious, suspiciously perfect. They're some of the most recognizable structures in the world. Millions of people visit them, pose with them, stick them on postcards. I've been there. I've done it. Actually, I have some banging pictures. I've got some fucking sick pictures at the pyramids. Not gonna lie. Shout out to those Egyptian photographers that walk around and take your money and scam you out of everything. Honestly, well worth the pictures. But let me tell you, I've been to the pyramids and it is absolutely outstanding. It's so breathtaking. You just cannot fathom how this was built. It's unbelievable. It's one of the monuments, one of the kind of like the 7 wonders of the world or whatever. I think there's like 12 wonders of the world now, but it's like one of the wonders of the world where you go and you're actually blown away. It's unreal. it is ruined by the fact that it's in Egypt and all the fucking scammers and everything around. Like, they completely ruin the whole experience for everyone. Like, you go there, there's a camel, and you're like, oh, that's a nice camel. You even look at the camel. Yeah, give me money. Money. You looked at my camel, give me some money. Literally, everywhere you go, it's like that. But that aside, the horrible experience of Egypt aside, I actually went traveling there with a mate. And if he's listening, that was, yeah. It's just, it was hell. But that all aside, we're talking about the wonders of the pyramids. So, if you ask any expert how they were built, you'll get a shrug, like a nervous laugh, and something vague about, oh, you know, some slaves and some ropes and copper chisels. Like, right. Because when I think of building a 6 million ton mathematically aligned megastructure that's still standing 4,500 years later, I think, better grab the rope and give Jeff a shout. He's pretty good with some sandstone. Yeah, we'll just chisel away at it, mate. Yeah. The fuck? Apparently, these ancient Egyptians, bless them, hauled over 2 million blocks, each the size of a small cart, stacked them perfectly, and aligned the whole thing with true north more accurately than the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, which tells the time. Oh, and whilst wearing sandals. Let's not forget that. And the official reason for building them? So one man, one pharaoh, could have a fancy burial chamber. Just one. Not a temple, not a library, not a party venue for Ra and his sunboat. No, just a glorified coffin with better interior alignment than the Shard. Yeah. So here's where it gets spicy, right? No bodies were ever found in the Great Pyramid. No gold, no sarcophagi, no hieroglyphics shouting, oi, I built this. This is my fucking house, son. Just a big, echoey room full of questions and possibly ghosts. Oh, and did I mention that it's built on the exact geographic centre of Earth's landmass? The exact centre. Or that the coordinates of the Great Pyramid literally match the speed of light? 29.9792458 degrees north? Go ahead. Just Google it. I'll wait right here whilst you do that. Wild stuff. What were they doing out there? Honestly, like building tombs or coding with the universe. Because either they were unbelievably lucky with all these coincidences, or they knew exactly what they were doing. And here's the kicker. That kind of knowledge, that level of precision that was needed, doesn't exactly scream, I'm winging it. This is my first go at building a pyramid. Does it really? Like, when you think about it. No offense to the ancient Egyptians. I'm sure they were all pretty clever and all that. But to build this with so much precision and all those other coincidences, it smells like lost knowledge to me. Or at least help from somewhere else. Maybe these weren't just monuments to the dead. Maybe they were power stations or star maps or alien docking bays with really strict parking lines. Whatever they are, they survived thousands of years of sand, war, tourism, and Egypt. Meanwhile, my bathroom shelf collapsed the other day after I looked at it wrong. Like, what the fuck? So today, we're not just admiring big triangles, we're cracking open one of the oldest, weirdest, most persistent mysteries in human history. What if the pyramids weren't built by us, or at least not just us? So let's talk about the official theory. You know, the one that they've been feeding us since we were yay high. I mean, come on. The pyramids, especially the Great Pyramid, were built as tombs, monuments to the gods and burial chambers for pharaohs, their queens, and maybe the odd high-ranking priest who got too close to a royal family member. Wink, wink. Simple, right? Well, you die, they stick you in a pyramid with all your stuff, and that's that. Bob's your uncle, right? Except, as I mentioned, no one's actually found any bodies. No bodies. And no one's found any treasures either. Not in the Great Pyramid anyway. There's no royal burial chamber stuffed with gold, no mummified kings and queens wrapped in fine linens, no ancient treasures, just empty space. It's either very suspect or the British got there first. I mean, just saying, but potential. Theory number one, British got there first and it's all in a museum in London. Classic Brits. It is almost like, though, that the pyramids were designed to not contain bodies or a king or anything you'd expect from a royal tomb. Kind of odd for something that's supposed to be a grave, right? We can all agree on that. It's a bit odd. So if it is a grave, how has no one ever in the world ever found a single mummy inside? And like, where's the treasure? Why did they leave it so barren? Like, these were Egyptians. They were draped with gold and they had all of these bloody, I don't know, big heads on them and stuff and sphinxes and all the rest of it. Why was it so barren? It's like, well, they spent thousands of years building pyramids and then just thought, just leave it empty, actually. Fuck it. Bored. Next. It's a bit ancient, that building. It's a bit ancient. I prefer a more modern structure. I want a circle. I'm over triangles. Like, the fuck? So, maybe they weren't built as tombs. Just gonna throw it out there. And before you start scribbling out Ashes of Looney on your notepads, right? Let's break it down. The whole idea that these pyramids are tombs is based on the idea of what the ancient Egyptians were supposed to believe about death and the afterlife. Sure, the pharaohs needed a fancy grave and they wanted to be able to take their things with them into the afterlife, but here's the problem. The earliest pyramid, the Step Pyramid of Djoser, built around 2670 BC, isn't even a pyramid at all. It was a mastaba, a rectangular tomb with sloping sides. Nice and simple, no cosmic alignments, no massive stone blocks. Then a few hundred years later, we suddenly get the Great Pyramid erected from the sand, right? A monolith with perfect alignment to the stars. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I was a pharaoh, I want something a little bit more cozy for my afterlife, rather than like a barren stone structure. Although it looks amazing, it looks really nice, and you know what they say before, it used to be covered in like bloody like white marble or something like that, wasn't it? Or like literally the pyramids used to shine, it used to be reflective, like a mirror almost. That's how amazing they used to be with like, this gold top. Apparently, anyway, that's what they fucking say online. I don't know. When I went there, it looks like fucking stone. But I mean, after many years and many years of erosion, right? Now, when you think about it, the Egyptians did build tombs, for sure. I mean, tons of them. You got the Valley of the Kings, the tombs in Luxor. Those are real, honest to goodness burial sites. So why did they go so over the top with the Great Pyramid? Was it just a really posh tomb, or is it something else? What if it was designed for a totally different purpose? What if they were trying to do something bigger that no one had ever done before on Earth? So, what if the pyramids weren't tombs, but power stations, energy generators, ancient machines? This is where the real conspiracy theories start to heat up. So, what if the pyramids were actually designed to harvest energy, or to communicate with the heavens, or even to act as a kind of cosmic transmitter? It sounds mad, right? But when you start digging into the details, things do start to get pretty mad. So 1 + 1, let's get to 5. Let's go. So here's the thing. The internal structure of the Great Pyramid is unlike any burial chamber, right? The layout isn't just a bunch of rooms. It's got narrow passageways that direct air and sound in very, very bizarre ways. The King's Chamber, for example, has granite blocks that resonate with certain frequencies. Frequency technology, anyone? Hello? So the Grand Gallery, which slopes upward, creates a resonance that seems like unnatural. In fact, some researchers believe that it could have been built to vibrate at specific frequencies using the natural acoustics to generate or amplify some kind of energy and boost some energy, like something that kind of, goes all through the pyramids and then emits from the top, something like that. And whilst we're on that topic, let's talk about something absolutely mental that's just come to light, literally beneath our feet, like within the last few weeks. I'm so excited to talk about this. Scientists using a new cutting edge tech that honestly, it sounds like it's come straight out of a Bond film, not gonna lie. It's called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography. Say that 4 times. Using the SARDT, SARDT. I wish they'd come up with something that you could just shorten it to. Come on, guys. Should have just called it like SARDA. Okay, we'll just call it SARD. SARD technology has discovered massive hidden chambers underneath the Great Pyramid of Giza. Underneath it. And when you see these images of the sonar that they've taken, this goes so far down. Like, to the point where you go, brain does not fathom this anymore. Like, I already didn't fathom that people, quotation marks, built this giant, humongous pyramids, let's say, and now they've found that this structure goes so far down and it kind of looks like coils. Now the brain is completely like, everything is a lie. But yeah, they found hidden chambers under the oldest and most iconic monument on Earth. And no, honestly, this isn't a Netflix reboot of The Mummy. This is the real life radar piercing the stone kind of stuff. A new chamber inside the pyramid itself spans 5 horizontal levels, intricately concealed and untouched for thousands of years. So secret, it's just been hiding there in plain sight the whole time. And if you want to know more about that, literally just give that a Google, the SARDT discovery of the pyramids, because it's mind-blowing. And it gets even weirder, because under the pyramid of Khafra, the one next door, they found 8 symmetrical cylinder wells, right? Cylindrical wells, I think is the official term. Cylindrical wells, but, cylinder wells is the same thing, come on. These aren't just like potholes or anything or old water systems. These shafts are 648 meters deep. That's over 2,000 feet deep, straight through solid bedrock. It's deeper than the tallest skyscrapers that we have on Earth. Just imagine that. And that's what I was talking about. That's actually the image I was referring to, is these cylinder structures that go 648 meters deep. Wow. And where the bloody hell do they go? How the fuck did they get there? What is I love this topic because it literally blows my mind. Where do they go? They lead into cubic chambers, massive underground structures nearly 2 kilometers beneath the Giza Plateau, all interconnected in a web of tunnels and chambers. This network, buried for a millennia, is on a scale archaeologists never even dared to imagine. Wow, I love a fucking, I'm so excited to see where this goes, because if they just keep unearthing it and finding more shit, I'm so excited. It looks so cool. Like, how did they do it? How? Let's just rationalize. Let's get back into our minds and rationalize. We're talking about precision engineered symmetrical shafts carved into bedrock with no evidence of modern drilling tools. So are we really still believing the old copper chisel and rope story? This feels different. This feels off, completely off. It feels like lost technology. Some are saying that this is proof of a lost civilization, something pre-dynastic, something that might match up with the legends of Atlantis, Mu, or even the Anunnaki, the sky gods. The advanced beings from the stars who, according to Sumerian texts, actually kick-started human civilization. Could this be physical proof of their handiwork? And let's be honest, this discovery is not out there. It is being actively suppressed. I saw a video the other day. People in Egypt, the ones who literally live there in Cairo by the pyramids, they haven't heard about this discovery. It is being suppressed, and the Egyptian government is stopping all news about it. Like, the Egyptian people are not being told. Whether that is because they don't want a massive rush to the pyramids and like mass chaos, probably. But it is a bit weird, like something that's on their doorstep, something that makes them money, something that brings them tourism, something that they, every day they go out and scam you for money. I mean, they should know this by now, but apparently it's been suppressed. And it's being suppressed all over the world, because how is this shit not on your mainstream media? Like, it's weird. Is it too big, too wild? And isn't it weird that someone has to make that decision? Someone out there somewhere decided, I don't want the world knowing what's actually under the pyramids. Someone has that authority. Who is that person? Is it Ra? Like, is it Cleopatra? So with these new cylinders that have been found, does that make it kind of like an ancient power grid? Communication system, a vault, a warning? I don't know. We don't have the answer to the pyramids yet, because every year it just gets deeper. I mean, come on, the story is unfolding, and the sands of Giza might be ready to spill secrets when we never meant to know. And the shape of the pyramids itself is a perfect geometric figure, something that transcends just cool architecture, So what if it was designed to interact with the Earth's magnetic fields? What if they knew something we don't now? Something about electromagnetism, about energy, about the stars themselves. And don't even get me started on the idea that the pyramids may have been built to align with the heavens, not just for show, but to channel cosmic energy. So maybe they were beacons or interdimensional gateways. I mean, who knows? But remember, the ancient texts talk about the gods descending from the heavens. So what if those gods weren't just pharaohs in disguise? What if they were visitors from another world? Visitors who gave the Egyptians the blueprint for something far beyond their time. At this point, that mainstream story, the thing that's in the textbooks, the things you learn as a kid, that actually starts sounding like a fairy tale at this point. And the reality is far more closer now to that, the fact that the pyramids are hiding secrets that are far older, far weirder, and much more powerful than we've ever been told. So to try and understand where, why, how, who, what, when of the pyramids, we should go back, way back, just for a second, right? So before Egypt, before Babylon, before the Bible, all the way to ancient Sumer, which is now present day Iraq, the birthplace of civilization, as they say, right? And etched into clay tablets over 5,000 years ago, we find one of the strangest, most persistent tales in human history. A story of gods who didn't just live in the sky, they came from the sky. And they were called the Anunnaki. My favorite kind of people, let me tell you. So, according to Sumerian mythology, the Anunnaki were powerful beings from a planet called Nibiru, an elusive, potentially rogue planet that allegedly enters our solar system every few thousand years. And when it does, things get weird. So the Anunnaki didn't just drop by for a holiday to Earth, tan it up, get my oxygen. They allegedly created us. They created humanity, allegedly. But, it wasn't out of love or some divine spark of like, yes, we need to create something in the image of myself and let it thrive and let them create nuclear bombs and destroy each other. No, it was to mine gold. Yeah. So not the golden spiritual truth, literally shiny metallic gold. Apparently, their own atmosphere on Nibiru was failing, and gold ground into particles was the solution to fixing it. So they came here, found Earth rich in the stuff, and thought, let's get these Earth apes to do the digging. Let's get them to work. And we've been working ever since. I need a day off. And thus, humanity was born. So not as noble beings made in, God's image, but as a genetically engineered labor force created by aliens to work in the mines for gold for the aliens. Now tell me that wouldn't make a banging Netflix series. Where are all the Egyptian movies and shows? Surely there is so much content with ancient Egypt. Why do we keep getting, the same Roman story told over and over again? Fucking Spartacus, Gladiator, and all the rest of it. And all the Julius Caesar and all that. Like, that's been done to death. Leave it alone. Where is all the Egypt shit? For real. I would watch every single piece of content about Egypt. Like, yeah, we had the mummy. Yeah. Which wasn't really about Egypt. It was just based in Egypt. Come on. But, like, where's the modern day Ra or the Anunnaki story or the Cleopatra story even, or, how the pyramids were built? Was it done by slaves? Show us that. Like, did they fight each other? I don't know. Like, where did they get their sandals from? What was it like before? There used to be a river, the River Nile. Apparently it used to be green everywhere. Where's the stories telling us all of that? Come on, Netflix. Also, I could just do a little bit of fake tan and I can be an Egyptian. Anyway, I just want more content on Egypt, to be honest. So spread the word, guys. Spread the word. Well, here's where it gets freaky. So I don't know where that came from. Here's where it gets freaky. So the Sumerian tablets actually describe the creation of mankind. They literally talk about combining the DNA of the Anunnaki with that of early humans. A clay man is what they called it, made in the image of the gods. Right? That's 5,000 years ago, by the way. Just gonna drill that home. Well, does it sound familiar? Well, these aren't vague religious metaphors. These are detailed technical records. Names of gene splicers, diagrams, a breakdown of the process. This was long before microscopes, by the way, obviously. So what are we looking at here? An ancient people who somehow just happened to guess the basics of genetic manipulation? Or were they taught by beings who already had that knowledge and brought it here? Or maybe we're just a really weird work experience project for some teenage alien scientist somewhere. Oh, go on. Oi, Mom, can I create speeches of bald monkeys and teach them TikTok? Fine, but clean up after the last planet you messed with. Beep, beep. Anyway, well, the story of the Anunnaki doesn't stay in Sumer. You start finding similar gods in nearly every ancient civilization. So you got the Nephilim in the Bible, giants who fell from the heavens and mated with humans. You've also got the gods of Egypt like Osiris and Thoth, beings with animal heads and cosmic powers. Then you got the Maya and Aztec sky gods, who also taught maths, astronomy, agriculture, and demanded the odd human heart now and again, but ayo. Then you got the Dogon tribe in Mali, who somehow knew about Sirius B, a star invisible to the naked eye and only confirmed by modern science in 1970. Coincidence? Nothing's a fucking coincidence. Come on. So is there a common thread, an ancient memory that's been dressed up in different costumes across the ages? What if all these gods, quotations, were the same beings, same crew, just different stops on the planet? And what if the pyramids, whether in Egypt, Mexico, Cambodia, weren't just architectural copycats, but part of this network that these sky gods left behind? A calling card, a power grid, or maybe just a giant alien middle finger to say, yeah, we were here first, motherfuckers. Don't come stepping. Who knows? Well, what about the Sitchin? The good old Sitchin. Zakaria Sitchin, the guy who really put the Anunnaki on the map in modern times. He spent years translating those Sumerian texts, claiming they proved alien intervention in early human history. And sure, critics call his work pseudoscience. Historians say he cherry-picked translations and made some bold assumptions. But let's be honest, those same historians also told us the pyramids were built with rope and hope. I mean, come on. So who's really stretching the truth here? Besides, if the Anunnaki aren't real, why does it feel like every time this topic comes up, certain names, governments, and websites, they all go a little, suspiciously quiet? So where does that leave us? We have ancient texts describing sky gods, civilizations around the world building pyramids all aligned with stars, and modern radar tech now revealing hidden chambers and impossible tunnels beneath Giza, places that no ancient civilization, as we understand them, should have been able to dig. Could it all be part of the same story? And if the Anunnaki did exist, where did they go? Are they still watching us? And are they coming back? They've been lying to us. Big toothpaste, dentists, the entire brushing industrial complex. 2 minutes, 3 times a day, they've drilled it into our heads. But ask yourself, who really benefits from that outdated ritual? Not you. Definitely not your gums. Introducing Scandinavian Smiles, the auto brush. Is it a toothbrush, you ask? No, this is a futuristic, fully automatic, plaque-destroying device that cleans all your teeth in just 30 seconds. You heard that right. 30 seconds flat. No more scrubbing like it's 1882. Removes up to 100% more plaque than your sad little stick brush. Antibacterial silicone bristles for the cleanest mouth of your life. And yes, you'll have more time to dive into wild conspiracies. You're welcome. Once you try it, you'll never go back. And big toothpaste, they won't be happy. Get yours before they shut us down. Hit up scandinaviansmiles.co.uk and use code ASH, that's just ASH, ASH, for 10% off your first order. Links in the show notes, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to do something that I don't usually do on Conspiracy, just because the whole topic of Anunnaki coming and then leaving and building structures, it very much aligns with my personal belief. And I don't really share my own personal beliefs on any of the topics that we do. But this one I have had a long time to think about, and it really is my belief. So what I believe that happened is, right, we, as the human race, we are not from Earth. And the reason I think that we're not from Earth is because I believe Earth does everything it can to remove us from here. It tries to kill us. And I believe that when we came here as our race, as our gods, whatever it might be, the people who brought us here, or brought themselves here, let's say, people who brought themselves here, we came to this planet because, maybe our planet wasn't sustainable anymore, so we needed a new one. We come here, it looked great, it looked amazing, it had all the components of life that we need and, that we know about. But there was a catch. So when we came here, we built these structures like pyramids, etc. They were kind of our landing ports and, like our mark on the Earth. But what they found was that we only survived, at the time, we only survived 20 or 25 rotations on Earth. Where on our planet, where we're actually from, we live maybe even indefinitely, infinitely. We just survive. You don't have old age, you don't have all of these kind of diseases or anything like that. You get to a certain point in your DNA and your growth that you become peak adult of whatever our race is, right? There's not this kind of disintegration, this aging. And so I believe that we came here with all really good intentions. We set up shop. We were all kind of like, yes, we found a new home. We're all saved. And then we started to notice that people were like getting old or like dying or going wrinkly and all the rest of it. And so what actually happened was the people who, let's say, were our government at the time, because you always need a leader, people who were the leaders, they actually bounced. They left. They were like, yeah, no, we're not doing this shit. Yeah, and what they did is they left many of us behind. And we were then just left to fend for ourselves. And over the course of thousands and thousands and thousands of years, we've kind of, mated and done all the rest of it, moved across the planet, spread out, mass panic, all these natural disasters. And we've kind of adapted to the planet now. And even now, we still only live, like, average age is like 65, 70 or something like that, isn't it? Like, we still only live 60 to 90 rotations on average, right? Whereas I believe where we're from, like I said, we maybe exist for 1,000 rotations, and it's the same as Earth, And that's truly what I believe. We came here, all good intentions, then our leaders left us because the fact that this planet actually kills us, and we are the products of what has been left behind over thousands of years of now evolving to live longer in this atmosphere and this climate and the way that the world works. Pyramids everywhere, mate. Right, so you got these massive pyramids out in Egypt, haven't we? Right where the desert meets the sky. But here's a plot twist that not many people speak about. I mean, I've had conversations like this whilst traveling, and people go like, oh yeah, maybe, but well, thousands of miles away, deep in the jungles of Central America, you got more pyramids. In Mexico, in Guatemala, in Belize, rising up out of the trees like ancient alien skyscrapers. Same triangle shape, same obsession with the stars, same weird energy, but totally different people. There were no boats, no phones, no WhatsApp group chats going on. So how is that possible? Well, let's start with the basics. So you got the Egyptian pyramids, smooth, sleek, precision cut triangles slicing into the desert sky like the world's fanciest Toblerones. These were designed as tombs, massive, sealed up spirit elevators for pharaohs who treated death like a VIP lounge at an eternal after party. No crowds, no open bar, just gold canopic jars and a straight shot to the stars. Now flip the globe and drop yourself into the sweltering jungles of Central America. You'll find the Mayan pyramids. Chunky, stepped, loud, absolute show-offs. These weren't tombs, they were actually temples, sacred stages for rituals, sacrifices, and cosmic ceremonies that made Woodstock look like a PTA meeting, mate. Well, you'd find priests in jaguar capes, climbing 365 steps just to chant at the top, blow into conch shells, and occasionally yeet a human art into the sun. So functionally, worlds apart. A funeral home versus a rave altar. But despite being built for totally different reasons, they're both doing the same weird thing. They're obsessed with the sky. Not just a little, let's watch the sunset kind of vibe, but full-blown, laser-focused, Pythagoras on ayahuasca level alignment. Everything points somewhere. Stars, solstices, moon phases, planetary junctions, and yet even Orion's left nipple. We're talking razor-sharp celestial precision thousands of years before telescopes were even a thing. No apps, no NASA, just stone, sweat, and a suspicious amount of mathematical genius. It can't be a coincidence, it really can't. And were these ancient architects actually following that same cosmic blueprint? Like, did they both wake up one day and think, you know what would impress the gods? Massive stone triangle, perfectly aligned with the edge of the Milky Way and the shadow of a snake that only shows up twice a year. Because either that's the most niche global trend in history, or they were working off the same intergalactic Pinterest board. Come on. And the deeper you look, the more it all starts to feel connected. Like maybe these weren't isolated inventions from random civilizations. Maybe they were answers to a question that we've just forgot what that question is. Or maybe messages meant for someone else entirely. Let's talk alignments. The Great Pyramid of Giza is so bang on aligned to true north, it's actually more precise than the Greenwich Observatory. Just let that sink in. More precise than the point on Earth where we tell the time from. So if you think about it, a prehistoric sand castle built without GPS, laser levels, or a single spreadsheet, it's more accurate than a modern British institution with all the tech available in the world. I'd say Big Dusty Triangle 1, Fancy Telescope 0. But it doesn't stop there. Inside that pyramid, there's shafts that point directly to Orion's belt and the North Star of its era, like some kind of celestial plumbing system designed to guide the pharaoh's soul straight into the cosmos. Forget your ladders to heaven. This thing was a cosmic launch pad, mate. And the dimensions? Well, like I said, they encode the speed of light. 299,792,458 meters per second is the speed of light. And that is the exact coordinates that it is on Earth. It's carved into stone thousands of years before the metric system was even existing. That's not architecture, if you ask me. That's intent. There is an intention behind that, and someone's flexing. That is a flex. Someone's flexing their astrophysics. Some nerdy Anunnaki out there is like, I got this mathematical genius. Put some respect on his name. Then if we hop across the Atlantic deep into the Yucatan jungle at Chichen Itza, you've got El Castillo, aka the Temple of Kukulkan. It's a steeped pyramid with 91 steps on each side, and the top platform, 365. One for every day of the year. That's not just clever, guys. That's calendar core coding built right into the limestone. And the equinox event that they have twice a year, as the sun sets, shadows sliver down the northern staircase, forming the shape of a massive serpent made of light. A giant glowing snake descending from the heavens to Earth. No CGI, no projectors, just ancient wizardry and a suspicious amount of sunlight choreography. And check this out, right? If you stand at the base and clap, the echo that actually bounces back mimics the chirp of the sacred Quetzal bird. And I don't know if I said that right. Quetzal bird, spelled Quetzal. Quetzal bird. And that sound that bounces back is a sound woven into myth as the voice of the gods. So you're telling me the Maya figured out acoustic resonance using only stone blocks, a bit of rope, and whatever leftover mushrooms were lying around? I mean, do you still think that they just guessed? Like, it's impossible, surely. Meanwhile, over in Egypt, the king's chamber in the Great Pyramid has been found to resonate at specific frequencies, with some theories claiming it can amplify sound waves and even create this electromagnetic effect. So again, not just a burial chamber, it's a sound machine, a place where geometry meets vibration. People have gone into that and reported feeling dizzy, euphoric, even enlightened. So is that a coincidence? Or did the ancients know how to tune human consciousness like a radio? Maybe that's what they're doing now with 5G, 6G, or the towers. I don't know if you've seen the diagram of that, but the way that towers are set up in cities and stuff like that, it's kind of in the positions of where they're all set up, the towers. If you draw this certain diagram, you get this specific frequency electromagnetic effect diagram. And, maybe they are now unlocking the secrets of those temples, so that's why they're implementing these new ways of setting up these towers, or whatever it might be. Because here's what links all of it. Precision, pattern, purpose. The 3 Ps. Just made it up. Precision, pattern, purpose. Put that on a conspiracy mug. You have to agree. These weren't random designs. They weren't just trying to look cool for the gods. I don't know, but they were tracking solstices, equinoxes, planetary risings, lunar cycles, and stars we can barely see today with a telescope. Some sites even line up with the 26,000 year cycle of the precession of the equinoxes, a long, slow wobble of Earth's axis. How would they even know that without generations of data or a nudge from someone who already did? So, no, it's not just architecture, it's astronomy, it's acoustics, it's astrophysical intention coded into limestone and granite. And if that's the case, you got to ask, why? What were they tracking? What were they waiting for? And more importantly, who were they building it for? So let's go full tinfoil. Not just the hat, the full suit. Let's go. So what if pyramids weren't just, the local monuments? What if they were part of a global system? Not tourist traps, not tombs, not temples, nodes. Anchors in a planet-sized web of ancient knowledge and off-the-books energy work. There's a theory. You might want to sit down for this one, but the theory is that the Earth is wrapped in a network of invisible lines. Call them ley lines, dragon lines, sun lines, telluric currents, whatever suits your vibe. They crisscross the planets like the mother of all circuit boards, and sitting right on top of these lines, parked like cosmic routers, pyramids. You got Giza in Egypt, Chichen Itza and Teotihuacan in Mesoamerica, the Nazca lines in Peru, Easter Island, slap bang in the middle of nowhere, Angkor Wat in Cambodia, Stonehenge, doing its best to keep warm in the English countryside, even Mohenjo-Daro in Pakistan, and the Great Zimbabwe ruins are all on the list. All of these sites, geographically scattered, culturally disconnected, allegedly built by people with no phones, no ships, no shared playlists, and are weirdly aligned on a globe in a straight line. Like, is someone just playing interdimensional dot to dot with Earth's pressure points, or am I just losing my mind? Are you still with me? Good, because this great circle line, has a name, doesn't just hit random ruins. It hits sites that were sacred, astronomical, ritualistic, and technologically baffling. You can literally wrap a string around the globe and hit half of humanity's most bizarre monuments. And the accuracy? It's within a few tenths of a degree. It's not random. It's literally geometry. It's planning. That's someone or something laying out infrastructure, like a planetary power grid. Just saying. A few researchers claim these monuments weren't just aligned with each other, they were actively channeling energy, tapping into Earth's magnetic field like ancient Tesla coils. Shout out to Tesla, RIP. Acting like resonance devices, working in harmony to stabilize frequency, store information, or even send messages across the globe or further. Some call it Earth's original wireless network, and I wouldn't blame them. Others say it's the remnants of a lost Atlantean GPS. Mainstream academics call it coincidence, of course, but I mean, if you've ever tried to line up IKEA furniture and failed, you'll know that this level of precision doesn't just happen by accident. Come on. So maybe the ancient world wasn't a patchwork of isolated civilizations bumbling around in iron cloths. Maybe it was more like a coordinated operation, a planetary project. Civilizations separated by oceans and time, but united by a shared blueprint, one that understood the geometry, energy, vibrations, and how to mark it all out in stone. But who gave them the blueprint? Well, let's talk Atlantis. So let's go full conspiracy buffet. Yeah, let's load up on everything. Mystery meat to interdimensional dessert. Let's go. So, why did the Egyptians and the Maya, two civilizations on opposite sides of the planet with zero recorded contact, both decide to build giant stone pyramids aligned with the stars? Some say they didn't come up with it on their own. They were taught by the survivors of a lost civilization. Maybe it was Atlantis. Maybe Mu, Lemuria, or the forgotten continent of we don't talk about it. Whatever you call it. The theory is the same. Once upon a time, there was a highly advanced global society. Way more advanced than anything in our textbooks. Like, we're talking electricity, flight, sonic levitation, mood lighting, the lot. And then something wiped them out. A flood, a comet, a pole shift, a cosmic oopsie, or maybe someone left a 5D microwave on for too long. That's what happens when you have all this technology. Someone trying to make chicken nuggets up in there. Anyway, if there was any survivors of that, they would have been wise, traumatized, probably jacked, scattered across the world, bringing with them knowledge of astronomy, sacred geometry, and how to build mega triangles that hum at the same frequency as the Earth's chakras. They become the mythological gods then of the new ancient world, the sky people, the bearded star wanderers, the ones who came before. To the Egyptians, they were the Thoth, Osiris, to the Maya, Kukulkan and Quetzalcoatl. And if it was the case, these travelers didn't just bring the stories, they brought the skills. They would have taught locals how to track the stars, measure time, align temples with solstices, build pyramids that make modern engineers cry into their blueprints. That's why the similarities are too weird to ignore. Same sacred numbers, same pyramid angles, same obsession with Orion, different continents, same cosmic cheat sheet. But when you think of Atlantis, you think of, well, two things. One is the Disney movie, which is fantastic. They should definitely do a live action of Atlantis. Loved that film. That was great, wasn't it? And two, you think it's underwater, right? People search for it. It's a lost civilization. It's under the water. It's since been covered with, giant tidal waves, and that's how it's been lost. But what if Atlantis isn't under the sea at all? What if it's been hiding in plain sight all along in Africa? Well, there's a massive, perfectly circular formation in the Western Sahara Desert called the Richat structure, or as the cool kids on YouTube call it, the Eye of the Sahara. It's absolutely enormous, right? Over 40 kilometers wide. 40 kilometers. Concentric rings, mountains to the north, access to the sea in ancient times, and it matches the exact description Plateau gave of Atlantis down to the measurements. Mainstream science say it's just a geological dome formed by erosion, but come on, a giant bullseye in the middle of the desert shaped like a forgotten city of the gods. Just erosion? Right. If the survivors of Atlantis did spread their knowledge across the world, maybe this is where their story began. Maybe it's not lost beneath the waves as everyone thinks. Maybe it's just been buried in sand, silence, and denial. And this place in Africa, by the way, you can't just go to it. Like, they don't allow you to just go to it. You have to be authorized to go to this location. So even that, it just screams like, what the fuck? Like, come on. You've got to be authorized to go to somewhere on a planet that you live on. Come on. And here's another one, talking about places that you're not allowed to go to. Some researchers think Atlantis wasn't even on the land. It might have been Antarctica, back when it wasn't covered in 3 miles of ice. But we'll cover that in just a second. First, let's think about it. If a massive civilization was wiped out and only fragments of their knowledge survived, that would explain a lot of the weirdness we found scattered around the globe. The random stone spheres in Costa Rica, precision-cut megaliths in Peru, underwater ruins off the coast of Japan, and pyramids bloody everywhere. The story of Atlantis isn't just about a sunken city with bad luck. It's the idea that the history isn't as linear as we think, right? That maybe we're the reboot, not the original software. And the pyramids, well, could they just be the loading screen? You know what I'm saying? Alright then, grab your thermal gear and your best tinfoil balaclava, because we're heading way down south. Antarctica. First of all, why are we not allowed to go there? We literally live on a planet where you're not allowed to go to one part of it. Like, it's forbidden. The fuck? Secondly, penguins. Amazing. Love them. And also, allegedly, ancient pyramids. Yep, you heard that right. See, in the last few years, a few grainy satellite images have set the internet ablaze. Images showing what appears to be giant triangular structures peeking through the snow. Symmetrical, angled, unnaturally perfect. They ain't mountains, and it don't look like rocks. They're pyramids. Yep, you heard right. Wake up, because the new update just came in. Antarctica has pyramids. the fuck? And here's where I get a bit jittery about it, because, as we all know, Antarctica's under like 3 kilometers of ice or whatever. So, what the hell are stone triangles doing down there? Well, let's talk Operation Highjump. And you know, when something starts with operation, it's going to be a fucking government cover-up. So, in 1946, the US launched a military operation to Antarctica called Operation Highjump. On paper, a training exercise. In reality, it was actually one of the largest expeditions ever sent to the continent. 4,700 men, 13 ships, aircraft carriers, and full military kit went to Antarctica. Now, training exercise doesn't really sound like a field trip to me. It sounds like an invasion, to be honest. But the official story is that they were testing cold weather gear. The conspiracy version, well, they were investigating something strange. Some say they encountered a hostile force, actually. UAPs rising from the ice, laser weapons, advanced tech. So ships retreated faster than you can say classified. And then radio silence. Nothing more is said about it. And also the treaty, no one's allowed to go there. So what the fuck is that? I don't have any answers for you, because you're just not allowed to go there. So let's move on and sprinkle in some World War II weirdness. Well, there's long been a rumor that the Nazis set up a secret base in Antarctica before the war ended called Base 211. Why? Because apparently even Hitler believed in hollow Earth. Some say they were developing advanced anti-gravity craft. Others say they discovered ancient alien tech buried beneath the ice and fled there to escape the war. There's even talk that Admiral Beard, the guy leading Operation Highjump, encountered Nazi flying saucers powered by exotic energy and had to leg it back to Washington to tell him all about it. Hollow Earth theorists say Antarctica hides a massive entrance to the world within. A warm, hidden civilization, lost species, maybe even the original Anunnaki control room, just chilling under the frost, waiting to be rebooted. But I'm not going to go into too much on what could be beyond the Antarctica, because I'll definitely be doing an episode on that in the weeks to come. But just to wrap it up on, talking about the Antarctica, here's where mainstream science actually dips its toe into the madness. It's been confirmed that millions of years ago, Antarctica was lush and green. Palm trees, rainforests, even dinosaurs stomping about in the southern sunshine. Fossilized plants, pollen, and even ancient microbes have been found beneath the ice. Not that long ago, a research team discovered evidence of a subglacial river system and buried mountain ranges, some of which may not be entirely natural. So what if that climate flip happened way more recently than we were told? What if a cataclysmic event, a pole shift, a comet strike, something big froze an entire advanced civilization in place? Preserved it like a cosmic Tupperware. Atlantis, Lemuria, the first pyramid blueprint HQ. Maybe the reason no one's found the lost city is because it's not sunken, it's just frozen. Now this bit is proper juicy. In recent months, whispers have emerged from the edge of the internet from anonymous insiders, rogue ex-military types, and maybe that one bloke on Reddit always seems to know a little bit too much, but they claim that buried beneath Antarctica is not just ruins, it's tech. Ancient, extraterrestrial, possibly still active. There's been rumors of excavation sites under government lockdown, DARPA scientists flown in under armed escort, Elon Musk allegedly briefed and then gone very quiet. One supposed whistleblower said the tech found under the ice doesn't behave like it should. So what does that mean? Self-powered, self-aware, interdimensional? I mean, we don't know, but we're just getting these little snippets of information. We need more. And the people who do know something about it, they aren't saying anything. They're just keeping it quiet, as always. Some say it's a ship, others a vault. Some think it's a sleeping entity. And the countdown is on. Scary stuff. Honestly, when you think about all the things that might unfreeze or thaw or defrost from what is there is kind of terrifying. Like, what if there's something under the ice, like waiting to just like come back, and what we're doing to the planet and warming it up, and apparently, and all these ice caps are melting. Who knows? Didn't they find like an ancient disease or something, and they were like testing it, and everyone's like, put it back, don't touch it. What the fuck? So what is it? Is Antarctica just an icy wasteland, or is it the final level on Earth's long lost history? Is it a continent-wide time capsule full of ancient secrets, alien machines, and interstellar plot twists? Whatever's down there, one thing's for sure, they're not digging with shovels, they're digging with secrecy, mate. And the more they uncover, the less we're told. What if the pyramids weren't built, they grew? All right, you ready for this? What if everything we know about the pyramids is wrong? Not just who built them, not just why, but how. Here's a theory. The pyramids weren't constructed block by block, they were grown. Yep. There's a fringe belief that the ancient architects, or whatever intelligence came before us, had access to bioarchitecture, a form of organic stone manipulation somewhere between advanced nanotech and mycelium networks. They didn't carve the pyramids, they cultivated them. They understood how to manipulate minerals on a cellular level. So just think limestone that responds to frequency, granite that forms under guided vibration, buildings that resonate like instruments because they're alive, or at least grown with a kind of natural programming embedded in their structure. Some even suggest the stones themselves are crystalline processors, storing memory or transmitting data like a solid state hard drive, one that runs on frequency, not electricity. And this would explain the weird acoustic properties inside the Great Pyramid, the energy effects some people feel when they visit, and why no one has found construction evidence, no blueprints, no tools, no scaffolding, no pulley systems that actually work at that scale. Because there wasn't any construction, there was activation. And what if the pyramids are still growing, or worse, they're waiting for the right resonance to wake up? What if they're not monuments, but dormant machines, tuned to a frequency that we haven't hit yet, that we haven't discovered, so we couldn't scan them for whatever they are? Maybe the Earth's shifting electromagnetic field is the final piece, or maybe a solar flare or a sound wave played from orbit. And when it hits, boom, the pyramids unlock or unfold or call home. Imagine all the world's pyramids lighting up like circuit nodes, one global activation, and we're just watching. So if the pyramids weren't built but grown using frequency, vibration, and a kind of mineral biology, we've got to ask the question that no one's ready for. Why? Why would someone seed dozens, maybe hundreds of pyramid-shaped devices across the Earth, all tuned to the stars, all humming with this low-level energy, all perfectly placed on an invisible planetary grid? The answer? Maybe they were never meant to be isolated monuments. They are part of a global system, a global mechanism, a massive, slow-brewing planetary program that's been running in the background for thousands of years, like ancient apps waiting for a cosmic update. And it's out there, but I mean, it could be. I mean, we don't know shit about shit. We just got scientists sprouting this, sprouting that, maths, blah, blah, blah. You're just kind of like, yeah, okay, that's true. We ain't got a fucking clue what's going on. And here's the final conspiracy twist, the one that makes your pineal gland itch a little bit. So what if the pyramids aren't for us? What if they're for something else? Something that left but plans to return. The pyramids could be beacons waiting to broadcast a signal when the right alignment hits, docking stations calibrated to activate when the Earth hits a specific vibration, maybe, waking mechanisms set to reactivate forgotten tech or consciousness when we finally hit that right evolutionary note. Or, and this is the big one, they're part of a planetary failsafe. One final message from a lost civilization or a non-human intelligence saying, we'll be back, keep the lights on, don't mess it up. Maybe that's why the elite keep digging in Antarctica, why they're scanning pyramids with particle physics, why DARPA and Musk are suspiciously quiet, because something massive is about to come online. And the pyramids, not just relics, they could be receivers, and we're the ones being watched. So next time you pass a pyramid on a postcard, a TikTok, or in real life, don't just look at it as stone. Look at it as a message, a frequency, a piece of code carved in time. And remember, we didn't build them, we just inherited the maintenance plan. And maybe, just maybe, that countdown has already started. So, pyramids across deserts, buried in jungles, frozen beneath miles of ice, humming with frequency pointing to the stars, and possibly waiting. For what? We don't know, but it's big and it's getting closer. You got ancient tech, sky gods with gold fever, symmetrical tunnels in Antarctica, and a worldwide stone network that might not be dead, just dormant. Now tell me, does that really sound like the history as we know it? Or does it sound like something else entirely? Look, maybe you still think it's all nonsense, just rocks and rituals, random alignments, weird vibes, and woo-woo theories stitched together with internet string. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Why are there pyramids everywhere? Why do they still matter? And why do people in power keep looking underneath them? Because you know they're not done digging. Not even close. You can start the conversation on our social channels at Conspiracy. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok. You can also email me, conspiracy@gmail.com. I'm always keen to hear what you guys have to say, and even send in some conspiracies you'd like me to cover in the future. I read all of them. So don't be shy, drop us a message. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Conspiracy. If your brain's buzzing, your chakras are twitching, or you've just added pyramids to your list of trust issues, you're exactly where you're meant to be, don't worry. Don't forget to subscribe, share it with your fellow weirdos, and leave me a review if your device isn't already levitating. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep digging, and remember, the truth is out there.